Sitting here in Soest with a new friend of mine, Tiger Singleton, also known as the Tick Monk.
Correct.
The right way to pronounce it.
Yeah.
Welcome to Holland.
Thank you so much.
It's your first time.
It
over
is,
here.
yeah.
And what's your experience so far?
I love the accents.
Oh, and the
Yeah, just everything about the experience. It literally feels like I'm visiting another planet.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I get to assimilate more parts of myself all around the world, so it's great.
So what's the biggest difference between where you come from and what we guys are playing over here?
Well, what I've noticed in Amsterdam specifically is a casual nature that seems to be here. With people riding their bikes, it doesn't really seem like people are in a hurry.
Yeah.
And I can really appreciate that. It's just kind of permission of, oh, okay, I can just kind of chill out and be here.
Yeah.
Don't need to accomplish anything.
Because you're from...
I split my time between Oregon and Hawaii.
Oh.
Yeah.
You should think that in Hawaii people are very laid back.
Yeah, that's what I love about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't snow there really, so...
Oh,
when it gets really cold in Oregon, I can just kind of take off.
You have the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
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 You didn't only come to visit Holland to experience the differences and the similarities between all the people all over the world.
No.
You come here for another reason.
Yeah, well, I was invited to come and share. And so people arranged for that to happen, and I've shown up, and now we're just kind of bouncing around doing different events, sharing insight and wisdom, and it's been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you told me that you were amazed about the openness.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I didn't really know what to expect. I mean, this is my first big trip overseas, and typically I've been sharing, in the States. And, of course, when you enter a new culture, there's this element of the unknown. And so I was really excited to see how it would be received. And what I've been reminded of course, is like, oh, yeah, we're all just human. And we're all dealing with the same issue. And so it's not different at all. It's just an element of being alive that we all share, yeah.
Can we know a little bit about your story for people who don't know you?
Yeah.
And what was your life like before you became so cheerful and joyful?
Well, I would say it was just authentically normal in the way of being raised by parents, a little bit of love, a little bit of fear. But my life was also this disaster at the same time. I was terribly depressed as a teenager. I dropped out of high school. I went into the world and just got into all sorts of craziness. Ended up spending some time as a drug addict for a little bit. Was homeless for a little while. And then, it was just, one of those classic journeys of completely failing as a human being. And then it really came down to I was either going to kill myself or try again to kill myself, or wake up and discover something that's more real. Discover a genuine purpose for being here, rather than trying to be who everyone else wanted me to be.
And how did that came about? Was it the church where you first heard of something other than worldly experience?
Really it came through my own experience of failing. And you could partly say it came through severe depression, of being in this state of paralysis in my bed where I just couldn't move. I couldn't function as a human being. And I would fight that. There was this big argument in me that said, no, this isn't what I want. This isn't okay. And as I was wrestling with that, it just got to this point of exhaustion where it was like, I can't do this. And I completely gave up. I completely surrendered. And I had asked a question that I hadn't asked, which was, what if it's supposed to be this way? What if I'm supposed to be feeling this way? And I noticed the instant I asked that question, there was this openness where it wasn't so heavy. The energy was still there, but it wasn't as much of a problem as I was making it out to be. And so in that space where life was forcing me to be still, I had allowed myself to see something that I wasn't willing to see before. And that was the insanity playing out in my mind. I noticed that there was this reality in my mind that was so exaggerated, so untrue, and I was buying into it. I was believing all this nonsense, and I could see how it was contributing to the fight that I had. But yet when I let go of the fight, when I allowed this to be what it wasn't that bad. It was like it was an invitation to rest, rather than a punishment. And that sparked my curiosity. What is actually going on here? Because I can see what I want to happen. I can see what I hope to happen. But that's not what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And so what if I allowed this? And so I noticed that there was something more real here and now as opposed to what I thought was happening. And from there, just a genuine curiosity where I wanted to know what was true more than I wanted what I wanted.
Sounds very smart. Could you say that you are just a lucky, intelligent guy? That you found out this for yourself?
Yeah.
Are other people with a depression maybe then not so smart? Or how, is it grace? What is it that you came to find out?
Yeah, ultimately it's grace because I didn't do anything. What I see is a natural unfolding. That this is going to happen. This is what life is. Life is this discovery. And the more we give up on the mental projection of what we think we want, the more we just become available and admit that we don't really know, then we can't help but see this. And so really it's just, if someone's willing to surrender and be open, you're going to see this. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
It doesn't have to do anything with IQ or circumstances or being a boy, a girl, smart, not smart.
No, see, and this is what I love so much about this, is the liberation is available wherever you find yourself. Whatever life circumstance you may be in, whether it's a war-torn country, whether it's in the ghetto somewhere, or whether it's in a rich neighborhood, it doesn't matter. Because what you discover is what exists inside of you. And when you touch what's true about you, this surface condition is absolutely irrelevant. And in that space, there's this joy that emerges that simply doesn't care what's happening out there. You tap into it and then you let it move you.
That joy is always there.
The joy is holding space for every human experience.
Yeah.
And so when you see the joy, when you allow the joy to be what you are, then you can be free in your humanness.
Yeah.
You can be with joy and allow sadness to move. You can be with joy and allow anger to move, happiness to move, whatever. It's just appreciating the experience of being human while realizing that whatever happens doesn't actually affect what you are.
I heard this before, of course.
Probably.
You're telling me in a very cheerful and original way. That's what I like about you. So no Advaita book or no big change because of one teacher you saw. You all found it out yourself.
Well, no.
No, is there someone?
Well, see, and this is the comedy of it all.
Yeah.
Because I don't see myself as separate from all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
It is a movement of life that allows for it. So it might look like it comes from this. It might look like it comes from that.
Yeah.
But really what it is the openness within the individual. Because when I go and speak to people, I'm not actually telling them anything. They're just open. And in their own openness, they're going to receive what they need to hear for whatever movement they need to move into. And so for myself, in that point of, it's kind of like when I was without a home and my life was just a complete disaster. I was asking myself, what if it isn't their fault? Because I noticed in the mind, I was blaming all these people.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, wait a minute. What if this is me? What if this is my own creation? And again, it sparked a curiosity of total responsibility. It's like, if I could create this much of a mess,
yeah.
What's the polar opposite there? What else could I create knowing that I'm creating? And in that decision, then came tools and resources, whether it's this book or that book. And so just like other people, they discover this openness and then they find themselves sitting in satsang. It's not satsang, it's them. And then life provides the tool.
Yeah.
And so in that, we don't need to feel like we're missing any element or any tool. It's just when you're ready, then life provides.
It comes to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I have a deep respect for a lot of teachers that have playfully participated in this. But at the same time, I can't contribute it to anything outside of what I am.
Yeah, because you first had to make that decision to be open to all of this.
Yeah.
To receive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a moment by moment recognition, because there's still this human element that's playing out. And it's probably one of the biggest misconceptions is, as I share this insight wisdom, people think, oh, he must have his life totally together. Mm-hmm. And it's not about that at all. It's the freedom to be human.
And by being human, you mean just making mistakes?
Making mistakes, messing up,
Yeah.
Being happy, being sad.
Hurting people.
Yeah, it's all part of the bigger picture that exposes a deeper love in life.
Yeah.
And so one of the blocks that people have in this discovery is they feel like when they have it or they see it, then the outside world is going to change and they never have to be insecure again or be afraid again. But that's not the point. Freedom is not freedom from feeling afraid. Freedom is the freedom to feel afraid if that's what's happening.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
So you also wrote a book.
Yeah, that happened.
That happened. You didn't write it.
I mean, well, yeah, playfully I wrote it. It doesn't feel like it was me.
No.
It was just, oh, this is happening.
An explosion of love, the color of all things beautiful. Something that triggers me because I think I have a weight problem all my life is that you lost about 50 kilograms. We say over here it's 100 pounds.
Yeah, about 100 pounds.
How? Was it before or after the awakening? Let's say it like that.
It was part of it.
It was part of it.
Yeah, because all of the perceived challenges that we have are opportunities to discover love. And that's what that was for me. It was an expression of withholding love from myself. And as I allowed love to emerge and bloom in my heart, it was just a natural evolution of sorts that would just fall away.
Because were you putting... Oprah Winfrey once said that eating too much is just trying to put love inside your mouth. You're trying to love yourself through eating.
Yeah, and there's an energetic game that's going on. When you're not loving yourself and you feel deficient, you start eating fear. You're like, I'm not good enough. I hate myself. And it doesn't matter if you're eating healthy or crappy. If you're eating fear, you're eating fear. And so the invitation in my experience was, I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to essentially eat what I want, but allow it contribute to joy. Mm-hmm. And that's what I recognize is I don't need to map out a plan to lose weight. I just need to enjoy myself. And what I recognized was some foods did not contribute to joy.
Yeah.
You know, and some activities that I enjoyed actually were beneficial to the body experience.
Yeah.
And so that was the lesson, that I had permission to enjoy myself. Because before it was just this massive resistance that says I couldn't be me, I couldn't be free. And of course that reflected itself on the surface.
Is that why when I go to McDonald's and eat a Big Mac menu, after 2 hours I feel like I want to kill myself?
Right? Yeah.
I think, oh, why?
Yeah.
Always
and I still play that game. And so, and again, it's not that I'm looking for it to go away forever. Mm-hmm. It's just a present moment opportunity of here's what's really happening. And when I go out and I eat or drink something that doesn't affect me in a joyful way, it's like, okay, I see that happened. And you're just becoming aware of it, not beating yourself up, not saying it should have been different. It's like, yes, that happened. This is what happens when I move in that way.
So is it also about not blaming yourself all the time about what comes about, or?
Yeah, self-blame is a killer, man.
Self-hate almost.
Yeah, same thing, that I'm not good enough. And there's this self-compassion that is so vitally important. And for me, it plays a huge role because I admit to myself that I don't know what I'm doing. That I'm just a human being doing the best that I can with what I have. This is what we're all doing. We're all doing the best that we can with what we have. And when you see that and you're not trying to prop yourself up higher or lower than somebody else, mm-hmm. It's just like, wow. Yeah, my life in some ways looks like a complete failure. But that failure is what's teaching me as well to love myself. So that failure is actually a success.
Beautifully put.
Thank you.
And there comes television. Which tells me that I'm good enough when I buy that Rolex. I'm good enough when I have the big house, the big car, the big this, the big that.
Yeah.
How come I believe that things are changing? Because that's my own belief?
Well, you buy into the illusion that you're not enough.
Yeah.
And that's what they're feeding off of. And it's just play. I don't see it as right or wrong. It's like, that's what's happening. And it's a great lesson, too, because you're observing that that's happening. Mm-hmm. That you're buying into this illusion. That gives you an opportunity to see that illusion play out. And your awareness of that helps you return to your own power that says, that's not really true. I don't really need that. I don't even actually want that. That's just conditioning.
So you don't blame anything or anybody anymore?
There's a play of blame that happens, but it's not really who I am. It's the conditioning that plays out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame the blame. I don't worry about the worry.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what needs to happen, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And that allows for a space for a learning, for a receiving of insight, because I'm not turning away from the lesson.
Everything is a lesson then?
In some way or another, yeah, everything is exposing more love. Everything is exposing more truth.
And is that something that can happen at any age, or is it bound to a certain kind of age? Is it something that...
It's the nature of life. Life wants to see itself. Life wants to see what's true. And so that's what it does.
And when I don't wake up to life, or that doesn't happen, then frustration is the only thing that's left, or...
Well, maybe. If so, that's beautiful too.
Frustration?
Yeah. Frustration is amazing.
Yeah. Well, I feel a little of that. I know if I see someone on television, we get very frustrated. We all start to laugh because we recognize that.
Yeah.
Oh, he's so...
And by laughing at them, you're laughing at yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we're so silly and adorable at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you notice how when you laugh, there's this recognition that all is well even in that.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can see a wellness if that happens again. And so in this moment, you don't have to be afraid of that happening again because you see how cute it is.
Mm-hmm.
And in the embrace of that, it's less likely to happen again.
Hmm. So how come when it's on in a movie or on a television screen, I can laugh about it?
Yeah.
When it's concerning myself, that's getting frustrated.
Beautiful.
It's a big serious...
Because you're taking it personally.
Yeah.
And it's not personal.
Frustration is not personal.
No. It's not about you at all. But when you believe it's about you,
Mm-hmm.
then you feel like who you are is threatened.
Yeah.
And then enter suffering.
Yeah.
That's what suffering is. It's the idea that you're actually losing something. That this life is personal, that it's happening to you rather than it is you.
Hmm. So I think I'm becoming less when I'm getting frustrated. I'm thinking I'm becoming a lesser person, or a stupid person, or someone that always gets the red stoplights and the rain when he goes to the amusement park. And
it's kind of like frustration or stress. Essentially what's happening is your mind is creating a picture of wholeness and projecting it into the future. It's saying, for me to be loved, for me to be whole, life must look like such and such.
Mm-hmm.
And so you go towards that such and such. And what you think is, if it doesn't work out, then my wholeness is in jeopardy. And so you have projected your wholeness into the future, which is now holding you hostage. And in that state of being a prisoner, you feel agitated because you don't feel like you're free. But it's not true, but you're doing it to yourself. You're saying, I cannot be loved until such and such. It's conditional love. And it's just not true.
And how do you know that for sure?
How do I know?
That it's not true, because a lot of people believe it's true.
Yeah. Because I know what is here right now. And right now, there's no problem.
Yeah.
And this is something that I usually open up with in Satsang just as a refresher, that we tap into the truth of this moment. It's like there's a big difference between the truth of reality and what you believe life is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this moment right now, contained within itself, this is true because it's real, it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And there is actually no problem right now. If we want to find a problem, we have to go to the mind.
Yeah.
And the mind has to imagine a problem. It has to imagine a person.
Yeah.
It has to imagine a deficient person. None of that is here right now.
Yeah, I could say there's less light, or there's children playing outside. I could make a problem out of that.
You could.
Yeah.
And that problem relates to your worth. And so it says instantly. It says my value as a human being is being interrupted by that which is out of my control.
Yeah.
And that's not true. Your value and worth is never in question.
Yeah, then the world becomes a dangerous place.
Exactly.
Because there's always threatening things.
Right. And so in seeing that, you can see in the discovery of what you are, the world becomes a playground.
No threats at all.
No threats at all. Not to anything real. There can
Yeah.
be the play of threat, the illusion of threat,
Yeah.
but it's not actually interrupting the truth of you.
Yeah. Some Advaita, could I call you an Advaita teacher, or don't you have anything?
You can call me whatever you want. I just won't believe you.
Okay. Well, let's say I think of you as an Advaita teacher.
Okay.
Then are you of the school that says this world? No, you're not, because you just told me, but I'm still saying it. This world is an illusion. Nothing is real except of my being here.
Yeah.
Or are you of the school, of another school that says the world is a learning place? Or
if everything is an illusion, then the statement "everything is an illusion" is also an illusion, which leaves you back where? This moment.
Yeah. So is there anything that can be said about reality?
You can say whatever you want about reality, but it's just another idea and another thought, which will never be true. So, and this is the freedom. When you see that it's not true, all you're left with is an opportunity to play and how you see life. It's like, wow, if it's not really this and it's not really that, then how would I prefer to see it? And then you move towards joy. You see things as opportunities rather than problems.
Yeah. You talk about this also with business people. How do they react to it?
To each their own, but it's like last night we spoke at the European Leadership Platform to a bunch of business leaders, and it was amazing. People are starting to recognize that the spiritual path is every path that you're on. Business can be a spiritual path. Being a parent is a spiritual path. Life is spirit. So wherever you find yourself, you're already on it. You're already doing it. And so we discussed, how it is that love, peace, and joy relates to leadership, relates to the business world. And it was received very, very well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited to kind of continue that on.
And are you experiencing, how should I call it, that people first think, well, what's this young guy from America going to tell me? What does he know about? I have to visit someone who's in his 60s, who has done it all.
Yeah. Well, frankly, I don't care.
No.
No, because I'm not running around doing what I'm doing for anyone else.
No. No?
No.
You're doing because you like this.
This is my highest joy, man.
Yeah.
This is what I love.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not moving in this way to help people, per se. There's a play of help happening, but it's not my agenda. My agenda is to sing my song because it's what I love, and that those that enjoy, those that find value, they'll come hang out. That's life's business.
What's life's business?
To take care of the back end of who it's going to help and who it's not and all of that. No.
Where it's going to be...
No.
So you're not like I was in my days of playing music in clubs and stuff.
Yeah.
I was a total control freak.
Yeah.
I talked to the guys at the bar. You have to act this way. The guy at the door, the light, the this, the that.
Yeah.
You just enjoy doing this, and the rest will be taken care of.
And I'm not one to even offer advice on how to do it or how not to do what you do. Because, quite frankly, the way that I move and operate would scare people to death. It's this movement of trust. Yeah. And really the only thing I'm interested in is sharing what I love. And the details will get taken care of. Somehow, some way. And nothing's going to be lost in the process. So I'm just going to enjoy myself.
And you trust life completely.
Yeah, right now.
Yeah.
But there will be a moment that shows itself where it appears that I don't trust, which will be an opportunity for me to see how I'm withholding love from myself. So thank you for that non-trust. And then move on.
Yeah. You mentioned the word love a lot of times. You seem like a very loving man. Also, your YouTube videos where you share love even without speaking.
Yeah.
How does that work with, with the ladies? I can imagine.
God.
I can imagine that there is a lot of females who see in you the perfect husband.
Yeah.
who send you love letters, because you could easily confuse that love you are spreading with
Yeah.
the.
It can be confused by them, and it can also be confused by me
Yeah.
as a human being. Yeah.
Is that a difficulty?
It's a playful challenge that is teaching me again how to move in a more authentic and sincere way and integrity. But also, it can show up as a disaster. And again, that's another misconception, that because I'm speaking this, my life must look a certain way, or I must be the perfect this or that, and I can just promise that is not the case. No. There is an element of sweetness that is relayed, that is desired by the feminine, and the predominant audience for what I do is female. So there's a beautiful play that life is happening to help connect and communicate with people, which offers its own challenge. You know, everything could be a two-edged sword. And so, yeah, there's a lot of attention in that direction. But I'm constantly checking in with myself to make sure there's this movement of sincerity, that I'm not trying to fill some void in my own experience. And sometimes I fail miserably. You know, welcome to being a human being. Right now, I feel like my heart is reserved for someone. And I've got rings on my fingers, just as a sign, just to let it be known that I'm not interested in engaging in that way.
There's a Dutch teacher who once said, "Don't confuse the mailman, the postman who brings the love letter. So don't go loving the mailman.
Yeah.
Love the letter he's bringing."
Yes.
That's the same with you too. It's the
yeah,
message.
Yeah, it's just a message. And this is what we do as human beings, is we project outward. We really believe that I am saying something to you, but really you are hearing yourself. You're interpreting what I'm saying. You're the one that's crafting the story. You're the one that's accepting it, rejecting it, all of that. It's all happening within you. Really, I'm irrelevant in this whole equation. Just singing my song.
So is it the self talking to itself right now? Or?
Yeah, that's all that's happening. We're just playing.
And why did the self start playing with itself?
It sounds like a good time.
Yeah, of course. Was it so boring up there then that he thought let's play the game of hide and seek, or let's play the game of two instead of one?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, in order for there to be experience, there has to be duality. There has to be a play. And so in that play, there has to be the appearance of you and me.
Yeah. And that's why we suffer. We think that play is real. We forget it's a play.
We take it seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We really think there's a you and a me.
Yeah. And that's fine too.
Up until I take a knife and stab you.
Well, in some way, that's a lesson.
If I kill myself in the form of you, that would be, I think, would be the biggest, the terriblest thing to happen.
Yeah. That would be the play. That it would be the most terrible thing to happen.
So you wouldn't even take that too serious.
No, but it's not a discompassionate thing. It's a broader perspective thing. That it's kind of like when someone close to me dies. It's like when my father died. There was this anger. But what I recognized was his death was perfect. It was right on time. It wasn't really about me losing anything. It was about me arguing with what's happening. It was about me projecting loss on what's happening. And so that created suffering because it wasn't really true. It doesn't make the feelings any less valid, or that I shouldn't feel that way because it's not ultimately true. No, it's just this space of allowing that can see all is well, even though there is this appearance of loss. And so I don't mean to project an idea that says I shouldn't respond emotionally to the illusion, because that can be a very beautiful thing too. It's like the play between two human beings. Even though there's this knowing that I don't need the love of somebody else, I love the play of that love. I love the play of being so devoted to somebody, or so taken back by somebody, that I want to give them everything. And so that can be a play.
But never suffering. during that play, or that's again the play of suffering.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's fine too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so do you see what happens here? As we see the allowing for all experience, you let go of the future, of what might or might not happen, because you can see that somehow it's going to work out. That frees you up right now. Frees you right now.
Yeah.
And this is what we want. We don't want the future to be a certain way. We want to be free. And the only place you can be free is right now.
Yeah. It's as simple as that.
There you go.
Yeah. And still, so many books, so many teachings about this.
Yeah.
You can talk about this for days.
We certainly can.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
Yeah.
And I'll keep doing it while it's fun. And then when it's not fun anymore, I probably won't do it.
Yeah. One thing that's always talked about in these circles is the free will.
Yeah.
Did I decide let's say yesterday, to come here, or did it just happen? And then some teachers tell me both.
Yeah.
And I go like, both. I want to have one clear answer.
Yeah.
Did I decide to do this interview? Did you decide to do this interview? Or was it just meant to be? Did it play out?
So you're saying you want to know.
That's, I want the reassurance
Yeah.
that I make decisions or I don't make decisions.
Right. Do you know?
No.
There's your answer. And that's what happens. Laughter.
Freeing. Yeah. Because I don't have to know.
You don't have to know.
Yeah. So what's that thing inside of me? We're talking now for about half an hour. We haven't mentioned the word ego, but is that the ego that wants to know, wants to grab? What's that inside of me that wants to know?
Because you want to know yourself. You want to know. It's the question of what am I? That's every question. Is what am I? That's ultimately what we're asking.
Yeah. Am I the decision maker, or am I the enjoyer, or am I the seer, or?
And all of that takes place in the mind, which doesn't have anything to do with the you that's here right now. And so in order to really see what I am, I have to see beyond the mind. I have to see before the mind.
Yeah.
And you can't do that from a place of fear, because the mind is trying to hold on to something for the future. And it's afraid it's going to lose it, which is valid, because you are going to lose it if it's contained in the mind.
Yeah.
And so to surrender that and recognize a freedom now, you can really answer that question of what am I? But to put a name to it, to put a word to it, isn't really what it is. I could say it's now. I am now. But intellectually, no. It's just being. It's an allowing.
So is it ultimately all about the fear of death? Because that, what you say, it's not going to last, that image I have of myself. I'm going to die.
Yeah. In one way, you could say every fear is a fear of death, the fear of an end, the fear of a loss of a story, fear of lack, that there's not enough. And it's not true.
I once read on a wall in a spiritual community, all fear thoughts are not true. Do you agree with that?
I agree that no thought is true.
No thought?
No thought is true.
Because?
Because truth, what is true, has to be here. Because this is real. And you can't comment on that. Because the moment you comment on it, you remove yourself from the awareness of it.
So thought always comes too late.
Correct. And this is great because when I go and share, I expose the spiritual magic trick that's happening in a way, is we come collectively with an agreement to be open, to receive. And then in that, insight and wisdom is shared, but the insight and wisdom is appeasing the mind. It's inviting the mind to be still. And when you see you have permission to be still, then you connect with something that's more real, more true. It's not a word, it's not a language, it's just I feel that. That's real. And then as you connect with that and notice that in satsang, that begins to transform your experience. It's not really the words or what I'm saying. It's that you are here willing to connect with the truth of you. And when you recognize that and feel it, you return home to that when you move away from it.
And nothing can change that.
What do you mean?
Well, let's say I go to, I've experienced that in doing interviews, doing satsangs.
Yeah.
A sense of coming home.
Yeah.
A sense of letting go. A sense of relaxing. I feel it in the way I sit.
Yeah.
In the way I look, and people start seeing twinkle in my eyes.
Yeah.
But sometimes I go walk to the car and I can't find my keys, and there I'm back in the mind again.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going, where is that beautiful feeling I just got 5 minutes ago?
Yeah. Well, you went back to being a person.
Yeah, the person who is not finding his keys.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because not finding your keys is interrupting your story.
Yeah, the story of that beautiful bliss I was just experiencing.
And the bliss never actually went away.
It just got clouded by the...
Yeah, it's holding space for your play of being irritated.
Yeah. So even that is a kind of love.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I should start loving the moments I'm irritated.
If you'd like.
But it's not not necessary.
No, you're free.
Free to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
So even nothing wrong with the old grandma who got left by her husband at the age of 50, and until she dies at 90, 40 years of frustrated sitting behind the curtains and thinking the world is a bad place.
Nothing wrong with that? You can imagine something wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then feel the tension of that in this moment, even though that's not happening.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just imagining examples of people who get stuck in that misery and take on the role of a victim and never come out of it.
Yeah.
You start laughing when I talk about this, as it were a cartoon where I'm watching.
Well, and you have to understand, this is what's happening now. Mm-hmm. You and I here. If that becomes the reality, and I'm sitting with somebody in that space, it's a completely different interaction.
Dynamic.
Yeah.
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 But it's just, I can imagine why you're laughing now. You're laughing about the silliness of the story.
Yeah, and I'm just really enjoying life right now.
Okay, yeah, that's good. It's nice to hear. You're going to do some more things over here in Holland, also with youth. With the how do you in Nederland zeggen we jongeren, not children, but
teenagers.
Teenagers. Yeah. And what are you gonna tell them?
I really don't know.
Oh, okay.
I really don't know. I just know the space has been set up, and I'm going to arrive and see what happens. I have a feeling it will have to do something with love.
Love.
Yeah.
Okay. And for a teenager, love is like a very exciting adventure, but it's the first time you fall in love.
Well, love as a space of being, so that they can recognize that all is well, and that they have permission to follow their joy in this life.
So you're not like some elderly who puts up his finger and says, "Throw away your cell phone. It makes you miserable being on Facebook all day and Twittering, Instagram." No.
I actually have a funny story about the Facebook thing. Shortly before that No Words video, I was in this space of reflection of, man, I sure am spending a lot of time on Facebook. You know, engaging with people and posting and all of that and liking comments. And I had to get sincere with myself. It's like, why am I doing this? And it was like, because I enjoy it. I enjoy connecting and sharing with people this way. And then not long after that, that video takes off and goes viral and then contributes more to the sharing. That helps me do more of what I enjoy. Yeah. And I playfully see that as this reflection of my own agreement that I'm in the right spot, that I'm doing the right thing. And then life supported that.
For me, the fear is that Facebook and all the Twitter things I do are just gaining attention, searching for love outside of myself.
It could be. Yeah. And that's a great opportunity to reflect on that. And it doesn't mean that has to stop. It might mean that you engage it in a different way.
How do I tell the difference? How do I know the difference?
Are you engaging in it with anxiety?
Well, I know for sure that because I had a YouTube channel for about 5 years with millions of views, because of a stupid thing, YouTube cancelled the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I was sick for a week.
Yeah. Because your worth was wrapped in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was part of my ego. It was part
Awesome.
of I'm Patrick, the guy with the big YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And now,
I'm happy for you.
happy that it's gone.
Well, if that's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it still brought me so-called suffering.
Yeah.
I would now drive to Paris if someone told me, if you now drive to Paris, you get back your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I would be in the car right now.
Yeah.
That I don't think that's a sane or a healthy way of engaging in social media.
Well, you could say, yes, I would drive to Paris to do that and do it in a different way now.
Yeah.
I would be honored to be back in that position,
Yeah.
but to do it more authentically rather than wrapping my identity up into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, are you still bothered by your identity?
Am I bothered by
Yeah.
my identity?
Does it bother you in a sense of if this interview would be seen 5,000 times,
no.
10,000?
I don't care at all. No, I'm not here for that.
No. I
Yeah.
know, but I would imagine from my place,
Yeah.
it would be nice that this interview would be watched.
Yeah. It'd be fun,
Yeah,
but it's irrelevant.
irrelevant to the joy that we're experiencing right
Yeah,
now.
it's absolutely irrelevant to my life.
Yeah,
What happens to this interview when I leave.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even if in 5 minutes I would say power shut down, interview gone.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say we did it for nothing.
No, because we are so in joy, in fullness of this moment, that it's complete. It doesn't need to be anything other than this. And I'm not relying on this for my own wellness.
Yeah. So there's no particular reason of doing this.
Other than joy? No.
And is joy then always the reason to do things, contribute to joy?
Depending on what your perspective of joy is, I would say yes. In another way, I'd say no. Maybe more appropriately, we could say sincerity as the motivation. Mm-hmm. This is very sincere for me to do. Because joy we can see as, oh, it means I'm happy. I always have to go and be happy. I wouldn't say that at all.
No. That could be an ego thing also.
Exactly, because I'm afraid of feeling sad.
Yeah, so I'm just following the parties. I'm looking at the party agenda every day. Where is the biggest party? I'm going to be there. Because I don't want to feel that.
Yeah.
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 One more question about depression.
Yeah.
Any advice for people who are watching this and who are now going through this phase of depression? What's the thing to do? Feel?
The first thing I would say is everything's okay. What's happening is an opportunity for you to see what you really are rather than what you imagine yourself to be. And so can you find within yourself an openness to see that rather than fighting the present moment experience? And just in that openness, be willing to let go of the expectation of who you think you should be and let life show you what you really are.
And that's it.
For now.
Yeah. Okay.
Ask me tomorrow, I might say something different.
Yeah. When people want to get in touch with you, there's the website.
Yeah, tigmonk.com.
Can you maybe put up the book? Very proud. Is there translations in other languages already?
Not yet.
Okay.
But that could change tomorrow. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could. Thanks for the book. I can. I know some people had some. Well, whatever. Anything you want to say to or ask me or want to tell the people who watch this?
I'm just so thrilled. Thank you for allowing this to happen.
Yeah.
This is a really big honor.
Do you have to bring home some typically Dutch treats or sweets, or have you got an did people tell you bring back this? We have some kind of things over here in Holland where you don't have in
This is true. Yeah.
Stroopwafels.
Well, I am traveling fairly lightly, and I don't actually know when I'm going back.
Okay.
And so we'll see. I know that my daughter would love me to bring something back, but
okay.
Yeah.
Do you also do sessions with people on Skype?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do one-on-one sessions, normally in a package type thing.
Mm-hmm. It's all on the website, and you have your own YouTube channel. Last question: why is it that you mostly do this in the car?
Because that's when it happens.
Yeah, just
Yeah, and I will say that most of the sharing that I do is on Facebook. Mostly because I'm lazy. And, organizing all these different things and the website and all of that, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so all of the videos that I'm making are on Facebook. I don't spend much time putting it on YouTube. Eventually that might happen, but for now there's probably about 300 videos on Facebook that people can find. But making the videos in the car, it's just fun. And so that's why I do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look like you have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Also in the videos. Okay, we're going to search you up on Facebook, Tycho Singleton. Thanks for visiting Holland.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.